Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Today's Friday, May 17th, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. A vicious video of Diddy beating his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in 2016 was released, obtained by CNN. It has led folks all across social media to condemn Sean Diddy Combs for this video. We'll talk about it and its impact on him as well as his legacy. Also, the family of Airman Roger Fortson laid him to rest today in Georgia. We'll show you what took place today at his funeral, which we live streamed on the Black Star Network. Polls left and right showing black folks going to vote for Donald Trump in significant numbers. We'll talk to Christopher Boozy, but how folks need to calm down because you really can't trust a lot of these crazy polls. Also on today's show, the stuff getting heated last night, the House Oversight Committee, and boy, did my Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett smack Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're going to show you that video. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time. And it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now.
Folks, we're 6 months away from the election, and polls are all over the place. Just to give you an example, a Reuters Ipsos poll shows President Joe Biden, Donald Trump tied. The Economist YouGov survey has Trump ahead of Biden by just 1 point in a five-way race. A Fox News poll shows Trump leading by 1 point in a head-to-head matchup. A Morning Consult weekly poll taken May 10th through the 12th has Trump leading Biden by 1 point. Yet, when you also look at these polls, they're showing that black voters are going to be voting for Donald Trump anywhere from 18 to 23%. But you do notice that in the last 2 months, let me repeat, 5 polls that are black specific have been released, and mainstream media has not covered any of them. Christopher Boozy, he is, of course, the CEO of Bot Sentinel, founder and CEO of Bot Sentinel, also the app Spottable. He joins us now from New Jersey. Christopher, glad to have you on the show. You often are tweeting and trying to get people to understand why they can't believe the validity of a lot of these polls. We just saw that in Maryland this week. The last several weeks, polls were showing Congressman David Trone leading anywhere from 2 to 5 points against Angela Brooks for the Democratic nomination for the United States Senate. Election happens, she beats him by 11 points. Just explain to people who don't understand polling why what we have today, this is not the polling of 10, 20 years ago.
Well, absolutely. I mean, first thing, polling is a snapshot in time, right? And when we look at polling, you're just getting a small sliver of what's happening at that point in time. But polling is not what it was 10 years ago. The methodology that's being used today doesn't capture what's happening on the ground. I heard you say about these recent polls that have come out and talk about black votes voting 20% or more for Donald Trump. That's just pure fantasy, and the reason being is when you look at the crosstabs, when you actually look at who they polled. Sometimes it's 6, 7, black folks. That's not representative of what's actually happening, and it doesn't represent reality. So when I'm on social media and I'm spouting out or, tweeting out that ignore the polls, I'm saying that because at this point, it's like you taking a magic 8-ball and shaking it up and asking who's going to win, Donald Trump or Biden.
Well, and what I try to explain to folks is that, first of all, when you look at mainstream media, they aren't breaking these things down. So they rarely talk about how many people were surveyed. So some of these polls is 500, 600, exactly. 700, 800. That's one. They don't talk about the crosstabs. You don't understand how they're weighted. If they're weighted more conservative, more progressive, you don't understand if they're weighted more older voters than younger voters. So there's so many variables that are in play when you talk about how a poll is done.
No, absolutely, and you hit it right on the head there, because look, not only the weight, it matters, but how the poll is worded. I did a little experiment. Someone suggested, I put out this tweet, and I asked, a question. It was regarding saving the Speaker of the House. And, I put out 2 different quote unquote polls asking, the same thing, but differently, worded it differently. And we got drastically different results doing that. And the reason being is the way you also word a poll will determine how people answer the poll. So if you're a pollster and you're looking for a specific narrative, you can word a poll in a certain way to elicit the result that you're looking for. So that's why I tell people, take polls with a grain of salt.
Also, what folks I think have to understand today, that you used to have credible polls. What I mean by that is you have folks who took great care in how the poll was conducted, how it was researched. Polling today is about marketing. Polling today is about branding. It's about being able to be a part of the news cycle. And so, sure, you might have a New York Times, CNN poll, but then what used to be reputable, Rasmussen, has just turned into a crazy, deranged, right-wing, nonsensical polling operation. And now, I mean, you got to the point where you might have, 10, 20, 30 polls because, they're just paying anybody to go out and do a poll because we know if we do the poll and it's showing some shocking numbers, it's going to get picked up by digital media outlets, cable news outlets, because they are fixated on the process as opposed to the policies.
Once again, I absolutely agree. And that's the problem with the polling. The credibility of a lot of polls. So look, let's just look at 2022 when we had all these polls that were coming out, pretty much showing a landslide for Republicans, and the pundits and folks in the media were predicting a red wave. We saw on, during the midterms on that election day that no, that did not happen. Not only we did not see a red wave, Democrats overperformed. And we're seeing that throughout even this cycle here with the special elections, that Democrats are overperforming, where they may, in some of the polls, be behind a point or just maybe a point. They end up, once the election is over and the votes are counted, 6, 7 points. So that's when I tell people, you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at what's happening on the ground. Look at the special elections. Look at what, we actually have the data, and you can see that these polls are just not correct.
Let's talk about these black polls. And again, we've looked at and we've had on the show polls by Black PAC, Higher Heights, Black Women's Roundtable in Essence, Black Voter Project, and another poll dealing with black families of reproductive health. These are black-specific polls, ranging from 800 people to the Black Voter Project survey, 2004. They have gotten virtually no pickup on any mainstream media outlets. And so how shameful is it to see Morning Joe and CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and ABC and NBC and CBS and Politico and the Washington Post and the New York Times and all of these outlets writing all of these stories and these think pieces on what's changing with the black voter, and they completely ignore black polls that are more representative than any other poll out there on the minds of black people?
Because it contradicts the narrative that they're trying to push out, that there's been this mystical shift of black voters who have just decided that they're going to vote for Trump. And it destroys that narrative. So they ignore it. But the fact of the matter is Trump has not gained with the black voters. He has not had any significant gains whatsoever with independents. It's just fantasy. So when you have these polls, and like I said, and you look at the crosstabs, and as you accurately pointed out, how is the poll weighted? How many people were surveyed? If we're talking about a shift with black voters, how many black voters were actually surveyed? Where were they surveyed? I mean, like you said, there's so many different variables. But to claim that 20% of black voters are going to vote for Trump is absolutely nonsense.
And I just think that it's yes, I do believe it's absolutely the narrative. But also, I think it's offensive, and I'm about to tweet some stuff out directly to these people and say, how can you call yourselves reputable news organizations, and here are black-specific polls, and you do nothing? And what's shameful to me is MSNBC and NBC. Cornell Belcher literally did one of these polls. I think it was the Black PAC poll. He is employed by MSNBC and NBC News, and they wouldn't even have him on to discuss the poll that he did for Black PAC.
No, it's shameful. It's shameful. And we're not seeing that diversity of polls being covered by the mainstream media. And you're right. It is shameful, but at the end of the day, it changes the narrative, and by changing the narrative, they cannot present this horse race that they're desperately trying to present. I've already stated, and I'll say it here on air, I do believe Biden will win, and I do believe he will actually pick up more states than he did in 2020, including Florida. The data, there is evidence to show that he has a very good chance of winning Florida this November.
I do want to get a couple of questions in for you to talk about Spoutable. You launched this in the wake of Elon Musk buying Twitter. How old is the app, and how has it grown?
Yeah, so we're just over a year old. We launched in February 2023. The whole purpose of Spoutable is to provide an alternative to Twitter because of the mis and disinformation and targeted harassment and abuse. People who look and sound like us are always the first to face the abuse on social media, especially Black women. So the whole purpose of Spoutable was to give people who look and sound like us an alternative to what, to be quite frank, what white CEOs believe social media should be, and I just don't agree with that. So I launched the platform, in February. We've been growing steadily, but we do believe, in terms of tech-wise, that we are a better alternative than Twitter. We just launched something called Accuracy Alerts that helps our users be able to identify mis and disinformation using AI and large language models, and that's been working wonderfully, and that works even with real-time information that's coming in terms of like breaking news. So we believe that we have a better alternative than what's currently out there right now.
So for folks, how do they access it? Is there any cost?
No, it's absolutely free. They can go to the App Store, just Google it, Spoutable. And we welcome all folks to come and give it a try.
And for the other point is, and add this here, what are the features that you have? Because I was in the audio room you were in earlier this week, and so what features do you have?
Yeah, so look, we have pretty much all of the features of Twitter, but we also have something called Pods, which is an audio. It's similar to Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, but it's a lot more interactive. You can host thousands of folks, and we feel, and once again, that's also free. And we feel that folks who, once again, look and sound like us can come, use Pods, have these conversations, talk about different things. Every day, there's someone, her name is Nikki Barnes. She's also out of Florida. She hosts something called The Morning Commute, where there's Black and brown folks that come in, and they have all these types of discussions, including, discussion about Representative Crockett earlier today.
Well, cool. So again, app is Spoutable. Folks, y'all check it out. Christopher, we appreciate it. You always are trying to tell people calm the hell down when they go get buck wild crazy when it comes to these polls. And I'm always saying the same thing. It's a snapshot in time. Things can change over time. But I really want our people to also be calling out mainstream media when they are totally ignoring Black specific polls, and then want to have all these other conversations when white folks are polling very few of us. So we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, and calm down. don't believe the hype. Thank you, Roland.
Plus, nobody's ever won with a poll because you still got to get out and vote.
Absolutely.
All right. We appreciate it, Christopher. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Roland.
Folks, got to go to break. We come back. We're going to talk about the explosive 8-year-old Diddy videotape that dropped today showing a savage beating of his former girlfriend, Cassie. We'll show that. We'll discuss it as well. Plus, we'll talk about the drama in the U.S. House as Jasmine Crockett, my Congresswoman, lit into Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, her crazy ass self, and that just led to all sorts of drama. And so, boy, it was shade being thrown left and right, pettiness, and we are here for all of it. So we're going to show it to you as well. Folks, you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network. Back in a moment.
I wanted the people of Baltimore to hear it from me. I have done nothing wrong.
But I see that what you are trying to do is destroy this black woman for doing her job.
I've heard your calls for no justice, no peace. However, your peace is sincerely needed as I work to deliver justice on behalf of Freddie Gray.
Maryland was a force to be reckoned with. I was assuming this was all because of Freddie Gray, but it actually is much deeper than that.
Baltimore's top prosecutor, a woman named Marilyn Mosby, was indicted yesterday in the Eastern District of Maryland for perjury. Couldn't help but think about Donald Trump.
This is what you got to deal with when you are a black woman fighting for just causes in America.
Yeah, but just taking on the police, period. She's stepping on their toes.
They want to cross her out of the system so she can't stand up for the preacher. Reached in the pool and grabbed me and pulled me out.
Imagine if this were you. You would want people to stand in your corner.
I lost my car. I lost my job. I lost my marriage. And I almost lost my mind for a little while.
It's just so much right now, Lord, and I'm just saying, why are you putting all of this on me? I'm about to break.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
It was my junior year at Georgetown, and Spike calls me and he says, Malcolm, what are you doing next year? So, graduating, you know? He said, take a year off, work on Malcolm X. I said, okay.
But first of all, for the folks who don't know, Spike is
my cousin. Spike is my cousin.
Just for the person watching, like, how the hell is Spike just gonna tell you that
it's true? It's true.
A lot of y'all have been asking me about the pocket squares that we have available on our website. You see me rocking the Shibori pocket square right here. It's all about looking different. And look, summertime is coming up. Y'all know, I keep trying to tell fellas, change your look, please. You can't wear athletic shoes every damn wear. So if you're putting on linen suits, if you're putting on some summer suits, have a whole different look. The reason I like this particular pocket square, the Shibori, is because it's sort of like a flower and looks pretty cool here versus the traditional boring silk pocket squares. But also I like being a little different as well. So this is why we have these custom-made feather pocket squares on the website as well. My sister actually designed these after a few years ago. I was in this battle with Steve Harvey at Essence, and I saw this at a St. Jude fundraiser. I saw this feather pocket square, and I said, well, I got some ideas. So I hit her, and she sent me about 30 different ones. And so this completely changes your look. Now, some of you men out there, I had some dudes say, oh, man, I can't wear that. Well, if you ain't got swagger, that's not my problem. But if you're looking for something different to spruce up your look, fellas, ladies, if y'all looking to get your man a good gift, I've run into brothers all across the country with the feather pocket squares saying, see, check mine out. And so it's always good to see them. And so this is what you do. Go to RolandSmartin.com/pocket squares. You can order Shibori pocket squares or the custom-made pocket squares. Now, for the Shiboris, we're out of a lot of the different colors, and I think we're down to about 200 or 300. So you want to get your order in as soon as you can, because here's what happened. I got these several years ago, and the Japanese company signed a deal with another company, and I bought them before they signed that deal, and so I can't get access to any more from the company in Japan that makes them. And so get yours now. So come summertime, when I see y'all at Essence, y'all could be looking fly with the Shibori pocket square or the custom-made pocket square. Again, RolandSmartin.com/pocket squares. Go there now.
Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
Trump was a failure on healthcare.
Hundreds of thousands of black Americans lost healthcare insurance. That is outrageous.
And if he's president again, he would cancel insurance for millions more of us.
We cannot go back. President Biden and Vice President Harris have lowered healthcare premiums and expanded coverage for black families. They also capped the price of insulin at $35. Joe Biden is getting the job done for people just like me.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Farquhar, executive producer, Proud Family. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
this insurrectionist Supreme Court is showing us exactly who they are. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito is blaming his wife, isn't that familiar, for the upside-down American flag that was in his front yard. And the Supreme Court is ordering Louisiana to hold this year's congressional elections using the map of the second black district. Okay, we discussed that yesterday and discussing that. So here's the whole deal, y'all. So here's the whole deal. Let me walk y'all through this. So this fool Alito, this is a story that was in the New York Times. Now, mind you, why is this coming out now? A photo was taken of the flagpole in front of his yard, upside down flag. He calls Fox News' Shannon Bream and tells her, oh, it was an argument between my wife and my neighbors, and it's very political on our street. Then he claimed that somebody had this vulgar sign that could be seen by children at a bus stop, except for one problem. Schools were virtual, so there were no kids at bus stops. Ellie Mistel is a correspondent, justice correspondent with The Nation, joins us right now. Ellie, I appreciate Alito talking because as he keeps talking, the lie keeps getting bigger.
You think? Look, you know where else children are? In front of Alito's house where they can see him supporting an insurrection. How about we talk about that? He says his street is very political. You know who the most political person on Alito's block is? Oh, that would be Sam Alito, who does nothing but make political decisions while clothed in a robe of unscrutable power, all right? So his story, which, as you pointed out, who is he telling the story to? Fox, the most politically corrupt news organization in the country. So why is this all happening, right? And I think you bring up the good point. Why are we only learning about this 3 years after it happened, right? Well, one, we have a media that is invested in protecting these justices.
Yep.
And lying to us and pretending like these justices are impartial when the media knows full well just how partial and biased and corrupt they are, right? That's number one. Number two.
Looks like Ellie's signal froze. Hold on, Ellie. Ellie, hold on one second. Your signal froze just as you said number two. So go ahead. Now go ahead and start.
All right. So number two, why is this happening right now? And what we know is that right now the Supreme Court is trying to decide whether or not Trump is immune from the insurrection that we now know Samuel Alito and his wife supported. Right? So that's the key issue here. Alito has done everything he can to delay Trump's trial over January 6th. And in a couple of weeks, Alito might well be one of the justices, along with somebody else and somebody else's wife, who rules that Trump is immune from prosecution for the very coup that these two justices apparently support. So when we talk about why Alito is corrupt, this is why. Because if you actually think the insurrection was a good idea, you have no business being on a court that decides whether or not the lead insurrectionist is punished for his crime.
And look, these tweets with Shannon Bream were hilarious. Now, keep in mind, the last time Alito wanted to respond in the media, he wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, very conservative editorial page, so we know what that's all about. So she's posted, I spoke directly with Justice Alito about the flag story in the New York Times. In addition to what's in the story, he told me a neighbor on their street had a F Trump sign that was within 50 feet of where children await the school bus in January 21st. Mrs. Alito brought this up with the neighbor. According to Justice Alito, things escalated and the neighbor put up a sign personally addressing Mrs. Alito and blaming her for the January 6th attacks. Justice Alito says he and his wife were walking in the neighborhood and there were words between Mrs. Alito and a male at the home with the sign. Alito says the man engaged in vulgar language, including the C word. Following the exchange, Mrs. Alito was distraught and hung the flag upside down, quote, for a short time. Justice Alito says some neighbors on his street, quote, are very political and acknowledges it was a very heated time in January 2021. Now, she wrote, adding some reaction, first from Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Dick Durbin. Justice Alito should recuse himself immediately from cases related to the 2020 election and the January 6th insurrection, including the question of the former president's immunity in U.S. versus Donald Trump, which the Supreme Court is currently considering. Hakeem Jeffries. Samuel Alito should apologize immediately for disrespecting the American flag and sympathizing with right-wing violent insurrectionists. He must recuse himself from cases involving the 2020 election and former President Donald Trump. Now, the people behind Stop the Steal, the Michael Flynn's of the world, that's what they've also been doing. Their sign is an upside-down American flag. Now, how many of us can remember the Robert Redford movie? What was it called? The Castle? And in The Castle, he plays a general who is in a military prison, and there's this battle going on. Everybody knows what an upside-down American flag means. And so that is a strong voice of dissent. How in the hell are you pissed with a neighbor and you put your American flag upside down? That is supposed to represent the nation, not, oh, I'm pissed off with my neighbor. That's a much larger statement, and that's what the movie The Last Castle was about. So we know what this is all about. Alito's not fooling anybody.
You notice he's not disavowing that he knows what the flag means and what he was trying to do. Right?
Boom.
Look, if a Black Lives Matter protester, right, put their flag upside down, that was our thing, that our Black Power thing was to put the flag for desecrating and violating the American flag, right? So, like, that's the kind of person that we're dealing with here. But here's the other thing, Roland, and I think it's funny to point out here how Alito is not even denying that he did the thing that everybody saw him do, right? He's just saying that we shouldn't care about it. But he's not denying fundamentally supporting the insurrection, supporting Trump, and yet sitting in judgment over whether or not Trump should be brought to justice for his actions, right?
Yeah,
so the fundamental issue here, well, we can go back and forth about, like, was the wife doing it? Or did he, like, doesn't matter. Alito himself is not denying the underlying issues. He's just saying it was justified because people were mean to him on the street. Well, Roland, you are in black media. I am in black media. What Alito is talking about with people coming into his face in public, that sounds like Tuesday to me, right? That sounds like every day I go, like, west of the Hudson River, being a black man in the media, right? Like, we get comments directed at us all the time. And I'm real sorry if Sammy Boy and his wife had to take 2 seconds of what it's like for most black people out here who dare to be loud and vocal and righteous in public. But Alito has decided to make himself a voice for the conservative movement.
Yep.
And so, you know what? You are going to get some pushback. You are going to get some pushback from your neighbors who, you know, Alito didn't mention about whether or not the couple who put up the F Trump sign, whether or not they perhaps liked to have abortion rights, right? Didn't mention if that couple perhaps was in favor of affirmative action, right? Didn't mention any of that. Only all he was, oh, they were mean to Trump. Well, yeah, it's about time that people were mean to Trump, and it's about time people were mean to the people who enable Trump, and that is Sam Alito.
And let me also say this here. You are one of 9 appointed individuals who hold supreme and extreme power. 9 lifetime appointments. Now, I get husbands and wives. I get, you know what, your wife has rights and things along those lines. But let me be perfectly clear. I'm not on the Supreme Court, Ellie. I'm not on the Supreme Court. But if my wife did something that I knew if the public saw and what the blowback will be on me, I would tell her, take that damn flag down. See, I mean, because again, now I know somebody's saying, ooh, you gonna tell your wife that? yes, I would say to my wife, hey, you ain't the one on television. I am. I'm the one who's out here. So that is not going to happen because I know what that means. You are a Supreme Court Justice of the United States. An upside-down flag is called a distress signal. That is the flag that sailors use when their ship is sinking as a way to signal someone else, help, we are in serious distress. A neighbor giving you some shit is not enough for you to say, I am going to put the United States flag upside down in front of the yard of a Supreme Court justice. Sorry, Alito, you are a punk-ass husband who agreed with your wife with that, and you're just trying to now put it on her versus being a man and own up the fact that you agreed with it.
100% I agree with you, Roland, and I think you're actually being a little bit nice because let's all, like, since we're talking about the wife alibi, let's also remember this. Alito, Samuel Alito, is the most sexist, misogynist prick on the entire Supreme Court. This man disrespects women who are in his courtroom. He disrespects his female colleagues on the court. He disrespects the Solicitor General of the United States, Elizabeth Prelogar, when she argues in front of him. You cannot convince me on this green earth that a misogynist like Sam Alito has anything happening at his house that he doesn't know about and approve. There's just no way. There is no way in hell that Sam Alito's wife is out here doing some stuff and Sam Alito, misogynist that he is, just doesn't know about. Like he's watching football and can't be bothered to know what flag is up outside his house. Nah, that ain't how it works with guys like that. With guys like that, they control everything in their castle, as they would like to talk about it. So I 100% believe that Alito, if he didn't do it himself, I know he's blaming his wife from doing it. I don't necessarily believe it. If he didn't personally do it himself, he knew about it, he approved of it, and he approved of the message.
And he's like, oh, you know, my wife, she just did it for a very short time. So, you know.
Alito's not a honeydew husband. Alito's not out here on Saturdays picking up groceries and things that happen at his house and he don't know about it. And, the pool boy put up the flag. You don't, nah, man. You did it. You did it yourself, or your wife told you, go outside, pull down the flag, flip it upside down, and put it back up. And he was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea to me. That's how I believe that happened.
And we know exactly how these right-wing conservatives feel about pool boys, right, Jerry Falwell Jr.? All right, I will ask you a couple of things. You wrote a piece about the Louisiana case. I do want to ask you about that real quickly because the Supreme Court kicked it back by saying, no, the map's got to be used. But the brilliant, if all these idiots who were like, oh, this ain't no really big deal, you know, Ketanji Brown Jackson being in the Supreme Court, she's showing you her brilliance. Because she and the liberal justices wrote a dissent. And what people need to understand, and I'm going to show you, this is the map that Louisiana approved. 12 white folks, 12 non-African Americans, sued complaining about this map. The rationale actually made sense because this is actually the map that folks wanted, which actually makes sense. This is the type of gerrymandered map Republicans often use. And so the people criticize this map because it snakes through all of these counties. Well, the black folks actually wanted this map because they said this actually makes a lot more sense because of how the counties are connected. And so what Ketanji Brown Jackson said in her dissent was to the Supreme Court, stop saying there's not enough time for them to redraw the map. There is time. Let me take people back to 2022. The courts ruled that the congressional map was unconstitutional in early 2022. Louisiana's primary is not until August. But the Supreme Court, using this was it Purcell, whatever the hell, they say, oh, no, freeze it in place. So in 2022, an unconstitutional map was allowed to go forward, which helped the Republicans get control of the House. Well, we go into 2023, delay, Finally get a Supreme Court ruling. We come to 2024. Now the goal was delay, to hope they can run the clock out so the court can say, oh, you're right, freeze the maps, keep it in place. Same thing happened in Alabama. So what you're writing is what Judge Brown Jackson is doing is getting on the record trying to say, let's stop using this other rule as a reason to say not enough time when there was enough time if we had the courage to tell them to go do it.
100%. Jackson is playing not for this case, but for the future, right? Louisiana has 6 congressional districts. It is 1/3 black. That should mean pretty much that 1/3 of Louisiana's districts, 2 of 6, should be majority black districts. But Louisiana came out with a map that only had 1 district that was majority black. They were ordered by a federal court to draw another map, and that's the map with 2 majority black districts that you showed first, Roland, with the district that snakes through all of those different counties. Why does the map look that way? Because they're trying to protect Congressman Steve Scalise and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who both have districts in Louisiana, but don't want black people in those districts because they might lose. So they, instead of doing it naturally, they did this snaking gerrymander thing to only hurt one Republican, a guy named Garrett Graves that I apparently don't like for Republican infighting reasons I don't care about, but protect the powerful people, Scalise and Johnson, right? So then, with this horrible-looking map, and it does look horrible, even though it has 2 majority black districts, these 12 white voters sued, saying, our equal protection is being hurt because we're not being overrepresented by your congressional map. And the Supreme Court said no to the white people. No, you can't sue because it's too late. And that's why Jackson dissented. She didn't disagree that the white people had a ridiculous lawsuit, but the argument that it's too late to bring a lawsuit over unconstitutional maps, Jackson was not having that. She was like, nah, there's always time. There's always time to bring a constitutional challenge for some racist-ass maps.
Ellie, I also think she was doing something else. I fundamentally believe that she knows that this is a bad map. Go to the map. She knows that this is a bad map. What she was also saying is, yes, there is time to fix this map, and really, this is the one that we should be approving. Because what people don't understand is, it doesn't mean that this is going to be the map that still stands in 2026. What they're saying is, freeze it in place. This actually is the type of racially gerrymandered maps that Republicans often would use. And I think what Republicans did in Louisiana was say, let's approve this map because we think they're going to rule this unconstitutional. Well, they got screwed because it backfired. I think because the plaintiffs, they actually prefer this one because this is what they normally try to do to black folks. And so it's going to be interesting to see after the 24 election what the Supreme Court then decides in this case, because the 26th map, this could be the one in 26. So she had a second purpose, I think, in that dissent as well.
No, she's always playing the long game. And I think that liberals especially need to recognize what we got here, because this Jackson is a woman who is always looking forward to the battles ahead of us and not looking backwards to the battles behind us. And it's really important for liberals to start thinking that way, because Republicans always do. Republicans, especially ones given judicial power, are always playing the long game. They're always thinking about what they're going to take away next, as opposed to being so worried about what happened in the past. And liberals need to start bringing the same kind of heat and the same kind of fire, because that's how you have to know how the game is played. And Jackson's just playing.
All right, so Ellie, we appreciate it. Thanks for breaking it all down for us, and have a good weekend.
Thank you so much. You have a nice one.
All right, folks, we got back. The panel is chomping at the bit to get involved, and so I'm going to go right to them when we come back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Latasha from the A.
And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, fam, it is time to bring the funk with our Friday panel. Let's get it going. Matt Manning, a civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi. Don't look like he in Corpus Christi. He must be somewhere else. So he ain't with his normal fake law books behind him. All right, we got Kelly Mateo, communications strategist out of Washington, D.C. Kelly always got her little artwork behind her, all colorful and everything like that. And then, of course, we got Michael in his basement. Michael Imhotep, host of the African History Network show out of Detroit. Glad to have all three of y'all here. Let's get into it. First, I want to deal with the upside down flag, Matt. Does he think we that stupid? Oh, that what I don't know. My wife, she did that, and it was up for a short time. She's just a little mad because our neighbors, they call her the C word.
Yeah, he's not good at lying. I mean, low-key, he just needs to not ever try to do that again because we don't believe him at all. And the thing that's very strange to me about this is most of the time judges have a canon of conduct where they can't even speak publicly. So what's interesting about this case in particular is that the Supreme Court, because we know they don't have, ethics rules, they haven't had ethics rules, and that's been one of the issues that's been kind of in the recent news. But it's strange to me that a judge in general would speak on anything like this. Normally, judges do everything they can to make no public statements. And I know the Supreme Court is a little different because of their visibility, but it just seems to me like what you would do is run this through a PR person or manicure it as much as possible to make it as believable as possible. But running down with a Fox News reporter what actually happened and then trying to pawn it off on your wife when really it's just reactionary. You had beef with your neighbor and you wanted to make a statement, and a statement that you knew, because you're no idiot, that you knew meant that you were supporting an insurrection. This flag being upside down is a symbol that's known in this instance to be indicative of support for the insurrection. So, I mean, you're straight up lying. You're not doing it well. And I don't understand why you would do anything like that. Have words with your neighbor, go back in your house and keep it pushing. You're a Supreme Court justice. But the problem is when you have impunity and when you have a conservative media that is fomenting this kind of action, you have no real accountability. There's no loss. Say what you want to say. And that's what we're seeing here.
Bottom line here, Kelly, this is a rogue, hardcore, right-wing, MAGA Supreme Court justice, no different than Clarence Thomas, whose wife was a part of the efforts to overturn the 2020 election. These two individuals have no right deciding these cases. They have no right being on the Supreme Court. And I dare say this here. If people say there should be term limits for Supreme Court justice, guess what? The two people who should be prime examples are Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas.
Well, you won't get an argument out of me regarding that, but I just wanted to piggyback off of what Matt was saying regarding why he didn't get a PR firm to handle this, because certainly that's what I would have recommended. But it also goes to another point that Matt mentioned, basically being Justice Alito's hubris on the matter. You don't really, you don't play defense. You don't try to defend yourself when you don't feel like you did anything wrong. And clearly in this case, Alito doesn't think he did anything wrong. I would think that he's lying even about the whole wife situation. The fact that he is putting his wife under the bus is also in and of itself very misogynistic. So that would call into question the legitimacy of even that claim. right? But nevertheless, he doesn't think that he is wrong, it follows that putting up the flag that way for him was also, in his eyes, not wrong. So in my head, that also follows that he is a traitor to the country, because supporting the insurrection was also supporting a traitorous action against the country. So taking it that far, for me, it says that he shouldn't be on the bench at all because he violated his oath to the bench. He violated his code of conduct to the country. That's where my mind is going with this. It's not just, throwing his wife under the bus. Oh, he might support an insurrectionist. No, you're committing treason, because the insurrection was an act of treason. If you're supporting that, it follows that you too are a traitor. And the fact that he's a justice and a traitor they should be mutually exclusive. They should not be in the same sentence as though they go together.
What's clear here, Michael, is that Democrats in the United States Senate should haul his ass before a Senate hearing. They should have done this with Clarence Thomas. They need to stop playing footsie. These two individuals should be forced to testify. This is no longer the day where, the Supreme Court, they're exalted that, we have norms. Hell no. They are flouting and abusing the norms. They must be held accountable, because right now they're accountable to nobody. They govern themselves. They determine their own ethics policies. They've got no rules, no regulations. And clearly Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, he ain't doing his damn job as a Chief Justice.
Yeah, I agree, Roland. They determine their own ethics rules and then really don't have any enforcement mechanism to punish them when they violate those ethics rules also. We know Senator Dick Durbin today has said that Alito should recuse himself of the two cases coming before the Supreme Court dealing with Trump. And January 6th. But I agree, Democrats are in control of the Senate by one vote, basically 51-49. So whatever power they have, they need to use it while they have it. Okay, number one. Number two, it's important really for people to understand that this 6-3 conservative Supreme Court is the result of the 2016 presidential election. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes, so many people think about just one person versus another person in the presidential election. And I explain this over and over to people on various platforms. No, this is about the trajectory of the country. And one of the lasting effects that a president has are their Supreme Court justices and federal bench confirmations, because these are lifetime appointments. If we look at Clarence Thomas was nominated by George H.W. Bush, the father, in 1993. Bush is dead, the father. Clarence Thomas is still on the bench ruling on cases 30 years later, And unfortunately for many people, especially a lot of younger people, Gen Z, Gen Y, and whatever the hell else they're called today, they only look at the president, but they don't look at everything else around the president and lasting effects. So this is why we need Civics 101. This is extremely important. And the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society, not only did they shape the federal bench, but the Heritage Action for America, the sister organization to the Heritage Foundation, they're the ones that crafted Senate Bill 201 in Georgia, the voter suppression law pushing the big lie, and the copycat bills in other state legislatures to suppress the vote as well. So we have to understand how all these dots are connected. And in some cases, many of our people don't even know the dots exist in the first place.
Indeed. All right, folks, we're going to do this here. We're going to take a break. We come back. Ooh, we got a lot we got to talk about. One, this video of Diddy beating his then-girlfriend Cassie has exploded across social media. We'll discuss that. Also, it got a little crazy last night in the House Oversight Committee. And Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, Ooh, some shade was thrown left and right, and I'm here for all of the pettiness. We're going to unpack and we come back. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support us in what we do. Join the Bring the Funk fan club. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037 7-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. We'll be right back.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Dr. Gerald Horne, a man regarded by many as the most important historian of our time. He provides us a history lesson I'm betting you've never heard before.
Texas enslavers who plan to continue the conflict even after Appomattox, even after the formal surrender of Robert E. Lee.
Dr. Horne talks about his new book, The Counter-Revolution of 1836, Texas, Slavery, and Jim Crow, and the Roots of U.S. Fascism. You do not want to miss this conversation. Only on the Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Frank.
I'm Dr. Robin B., pharmacist and fitness coach, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
About 1 p.m. Eastern today, social media exploded after CNN dropped this. They obtained a, when I show it, don't say it yet. They obtained a 2016 surveillance video from a hotel in California that shows Diddy assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, during an altercation that matches allegations in a now settled federal lawsuit she filed in November. The silent video we're about to show you is extremely difficult to watch. And so if you want to turn away, please do so before we actually show this video. All right, here we go. Guys, as you see in this video, start the video over, please. Start the video over. So we're gonna go from the top. Now, go to the video. Here you see Cassie walking down, coming down this hallway with a bag. You see Diddy wrapped in a towel, chasing down the street. It switches right here. All of a sudden, he comes up to her, grabs her by the hoodie, throws her on the ground, then kicks her. He picks up her couple of items. Then he's going to stomp on her. Then you see him right here pick her up by the hoodie and is dragging her down the hallway. That is so that is the extent of the particular video. We do not know how CNN obtained this video. Don't know it came from the hotel. Don't know if this was a video that was uncovered when they raided Diddy's homes in Miami and Los Angeles. But according to CNN, the footage is compiled from multiple camera angles and is dated March 5th, 2016. As I said, it shows Cassie leaving a hotel room and walking to the elevators before Diddy runs after her and begins to hit and beat her. Cassie's attorney, Douglas Wigdor, released the following statement. He said, quote, "The gut-wrenching video has only further confirmed the disturbing and predatory behavior of Mr. Combs. Words cannot express the courage and fortitude that Ms. Ventura has shown in coming forward to bring this to light. In November, of course, she settled her lawsuit that she dropped, was reported in the New York Times, and of course, it dropped on a Thursday. It was settled the next day. Details have not been disclosed. The last several days, Diddy had been quite vocal, if you will, on social media platforms. He had returned to Instagram and other platforms, even posting items and leaving his comments open for people to actually comment. Here are just a couple of these are the last 3 posts he actually made here. You see this particular post here. He posted this photo of one of his young daughters. This was 2 days ago. 3 days ago, boy, this did not age well. This Instagram post, time tells the truth. Then, of course, he posted this photo here of him and his children, of course, out by a lake. And then he had posted Mother's Day tributes to the mothers of his children. And then this was the second one. And of course, he made a tribute to his longtime girlfriend and the mother of previous kids, Kim Porter. Let's go to our panel. Matt, the statute of limitations on the assault has run out. But the reality is, even though that's run out, we saw Diddy and his attorneys release a statement denying the allegation when the lawsuit was dropped. Can't deny this video.
Address this in 2 ways. So the first thing I want to say is the much more important story here is about Cassie and not about Diddy. And I want to say, having worked with survivors for most of my career, this is not an easy thing to do. She should be commended, as is any survivor who comes forward and any survivor who survives, even if at some point they don't come forward or if they come forward many years later. So first, I want to give full voice to her and show support, because it's so important that people recognize that these are real people's lives, celebrities notwithstanding, and what she did is courageous. Now, normally I come on the show and talk about, allegations and the whole deal. This is not that. This is the opposite situation. This is the situation where a person has been hurt, harmed, and they've said what happened, and we've got that documentary proof. And a lot of times when you have this documentary proof, it shocks the conscience. People don't realize what somebody was dealing with as long as they were dealing with it. But she was with him for, I believe, 14 years. So I'm glad that there will be not only justice, there has been justice in the courts, but that there will be justice, hopefully, for Cassie's name and for any survivor who comes forward later. And I'll say, this is one of the things that it doesn't matter how good his PR team is, how good his lawyer is, they will not be able to get away from this, and he should not be able to get away from this. And I'm hoping that people who are fans of his music, do not allow this to be swept under the rug, because he absolutely should be held to task as long as we can remember this, and we should remember this as long as he's in the public eye.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, but bottom line is what you're dealing with is here just unbelievable, if you will. And she made the allegations. A lot of people was like, well, I'm not sure. Hey, they're just allegations. You got video here, Kelly. That's a whole different conversation.
It is a whole different conversation, but the fact of the matter is, when it comes to women making allegations such as this, it is still disheartening to me that it is by default that we are not believed. Specifically when it comes to Black women and women of color, are not believed when we come forward with allegations as heinous as what we saw in that video. It should have been clear that there was at least some truth to it when, one, the details in the lawsuit that Cassie brought, they were incredibly detailed. So the reaction that I've seen today regarding this matter, regarding the video, how people are shocked about it, when, if I recall correctly, there is actually one line item in the lawsuit describing this very incident in almost play-for-play detail shows me that people weren't necessarily paying attention and frankly probably didn't even care. But also just how heinous this was. There's a ongoing social media trend right now regarding man versus bear, talking about how women, if they were stuck in the woods, would they rather be stuck in the woods with the bear or with a man? And most women choose the bear. When you see videos like this, when you hear allegations like this is why women choose the bear, because the bear will attack you if they are threatened. Most of the time, they don't attack at all. They try to evade the situation. But when it comes to men and the innate threat that men have towards women, against women, this instance is why you see the social media trend of man versus bear, and a majority of women choosing the bear, because a bear wouldn't do this to a woman unprovoked. But clearly Diddy could and did.
You know, this here it's beyond despicable. It's sadistic, Michael.
Yeah, it is. And you know, when Cassie made her allegations in the lawsuit last year, November 2023, and then this was, as Kelly is correct, in her lawsuit, this is one of the incidents that was mentioned in that complaint. And it said the incident took place around March 2016, she said in the lawsuit. When Diddy settled this lawsuit, like within 24 hours, okay, that told me something right there. All right, so there's something like really here. Okay, she's really telling the truth. I don't know. I didn't know how deep this rabbit hole went, but now that we see this video here, and then according to the article from CNN, it talks about how the complaint from November 2023 that Cassie filed alleges Sean Diddy Combs paid the Intercontinental Century City, the hotel, $50,000 for the hallway security footage of the incident. So one of the questions I have is, okay, how did CNN get this? Why is this coming out now? I'm glad it's coming out now, but you know, Cassie was right so far. From what we're seeing, she was correct. And what's the other shoe that's going to drop as well? And keep in mind, there were other women who filed lawsuits against Diddy as well. We have to look at each one individually, but what's the other shoe that's going to drop?
Absolutely. And look, there's been no reaction from Diddy. There's been no reaction from Diddy's attorney since this videotape dropped. And so we certainly will see what happens next. But social media has been talking about it a lot. And this is one of those. This is one of those videos. It's very difficult for you to come back from. Sure, you can talk about Chris Brown and Rihanna. What you saw there, those were photos that were released. Chris Brown paid a hefty price. Yes, he still performs. Yes, but listen, he took a significant hit in terms of his career as a result of this here. This is a lot different. I think back here, Matt, to the Ray Rice tape. When that elevator tape came out of Ray Rice punching his I think then girlfriend, who later became his wife, he never played another down in the NFL. Last year, I think the Ravens had him back to kick off a playoff game, but I do not see Diddy being on a major stage again. American Music Awards, Grammys, any of these awards. Granted, you've had other entertainers that have had issues, that have been arrested for all sorts of different reasons. This to me, with the number of allegations that have been made, and of course there are other lawsuits that have come out. You're talking about somebody who's facing a lot of legal headwinds.
Yeah, and for them to be making any statements when the feds are raiding your house, I don't understand why he's on social media. I get the idea that people want to give the impression they're not worried about charges, but when the feds come into your house, it's because the feds have something to come into your house for. The percentage of cases where they don't go forward and succeed is extremely small. But beyond that, to your point, he shouldn't be on a stage anywhere. And I think what's important about these cases, domestic violence in particular, is I think very often when we talk about it in the public, we talk about it in enshrouded in mystery. You don't know exactly what happened. You know allegations. You know there may be phenomena in relationships, the little bit of it you see that may allow you to deduce maybe there's some, environment going on at home, but you don't ever really know. But when you see a video like this, it disabuses you of any questions because you see the abuse clearly stated. You see him pursuing her down the hall. You see him assaulting her. You see him continuing to assault her. And that's something you cannot PR your way out of, and you should not be able to PR your way out of. So hopefully Diddy's career is over with this. And I say that, emphatically, because if you're treating somebody like this, you absolutely deserve everything that is coming to you in the legal system.
Absolutely. And it goes to show you, look, earlier this week, Kelly, DJ Academics had a sexual assault lawsuit filed against him. And he made a quite interesting comment. He said, if I go down, I'm bringing everybody in the industry down. And folks are like, what the hell was that about? So what you're dealing with here, you've seen lawsuits filed against other folks in the entertainment industry. The statute of limitations, of course, was extended for a year in New York City. You saw these sexual assault lawsuits filed there as well. And so you are seeing people today, Kelly, women today, file these lawsuits, telling their stories, sharing their truths. And there are a lot of folks who have been hiding behind NDAs, hiding behind the settlements, who right now should probably be running scared.
Absolutely. I think that 2024 has become the year of reckoning, the year of accountability. And I'm here for it because it's not like people didn't know about Diddy, right? It's not like people didn't know about R. Kelly. It's not like people don't know about these celebrities and figureheads who are in this life, in these industries, who have been doing heinous things from the inception of their careers. And it's because of fear and job security and capitalism and pick a reason that these people have not been held accountable, that these victims have been scared for so long, that there has been padding by way of NDAs and statute of limitations runs and the like, that things have not been falling into place as they should, meaning people haven't been held accountable as they should, meaning that the reckoning has not happened as it should. And as far as DJ Academics is concerned, I'm not his biggest fan. However, if more things come out by way of him opening his mouth, and those things that come out of his mouth are proven to be true, let it happen, because there needs to be a cleansing of morals of the gunk that is in these industries that are having people running scared and not living up to their fullest potentials because you have basically gutter snipe at the highest pedestals within these respective industries.
Michael.
Yeah, Roland, also, according to Cassie's lawsuit and was mentioned in this CNN article, is that she claimed that she was raped in 2018 as well and subjected to years of repeated physical and other abuses by Combs, as well as she alleged that he forced her to have sex with other men. Okay, now we don't know what else is going to come out. That first of all, that's despicable. Okay, 1, 2. He was 37 and she was 19 when they first met. Also, okay, and when you see an age discrepancy, she's 1 year out of high school, and you're a grown ass man. There's something wrong right there. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then when you look at R. Kelly, right? the documentary Surviving R. Kelly, they talked about how R. Kelly liked younger girls. And, you know, sometimes people make fun of that. You like, you know, a guy likes young girls, things like this. When you like women like 18, or you like girls 17, 16, something like, that's not funny. Okay? That's not funny. And people like that better hope they never go to prison, because they're going to get an ass whooping in prison. That's what's going to happen to them. All right? And if a video like this came out of R. Kelly physically abusing somebody, I know you have the video of him engaging in sex acts, okay? But that was like underground, okay? That was child pornography. That wasn't shown on, we didn't have social media developed to this level back then, and that wasn't shown on MSNBC, things like that. If a video of R. Kelly physically abusing a woman like that came out, and he could be identified, he would have gone down a long time ago also.
All right. Folks, hold tight 1 second. When we come back, we're going to talk about, the drama in the House. It got a little wild last night in the House Oversight Committee, and I'm here for all of the pettiness from my Congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. First, President Barack Obama's road to the White House. We got about 500 copies of the book available. And so this actually is all of the coverage of the 2008 election. But the other thing is this here. I talked to folks like Malik Yoba, Hill Harper, Erica Alexander, Kevin Lau, Spike Lee, Tatiana Ali. But there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff in here as well, where I talked about some of the stuff that went down at CNN. Also, when you go through here, a lot of the photos that you see in here, photos that I actually shot, photos that were my time at CNN. And so what I decided to do, because one, I published the book and I own it myself, is that so I said, you know what, I'm going to slash the price to $10. I'm not reprinting the book. So once we are sold out of these 500, that's it. They're gone. So you can go to RolandSMartin.com/the-first to get a copy of this book. Everybody who orders this book through the website, not on Amazon, only through RolandSMartin.com, I will personally autograph and mail you a copy of this book. It's all of the coverage, the actual interviews that I did with him. And just to show you, of course, when it came out, there's actually even in here the interviews that I did with him and Michelle Obama, which won TV One cable networks its first 2 NAACP Image Awards. And so all of that for $10, go to RolandSMartin.com the first and order your copy today.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Whoa, Nelly! Keith Jackson used to always use the phrase when he was calling college football, and that's probably what he would have said last night if he was calling the House Oversight Committee game last night between the donkeys and the elephants. I know you were up late, because see, a lot of them Trumpers, they were down in New York City looking like some damn fools standing there defending Donald Trump. He was in court. So the committee, they actually got to work late last night, and damn, clearly some folks needed some sleep. Really?
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
Please tell me what that has to do with Merrick Garland.
Is she a porn star?
Oh, Goldman. That's right. He's advising. Okay.
He's advising who? What? Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I
think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order, Mr. Chairman. Would you engage the order of your committee?
Order,
please.
There's a point of order.
We have a point of order. Mr. Lynch, state your point.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to ask the parliamentarian if your conduct here in raising money in connection with this hearing is referable to the Ethics Committee within this hearing. Is a motion in order to refer your conduct and your abuse of
It's not a point of order.
Mr. I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Greene's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl?
We are gonna move, and we're gonna take your words down.
I second that motion.
So who will have to pay us? Okay. All right. We're suspending.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's
That-
disintegrating.
No, we're taking her words down. No way is that being allowed. She has to retract. Absolutely not. Absolutely.
So, if she agrees to I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on oversight.
Not today. Yeah. Not today.
I got to find some place.
Ms. Greene, do you wish to strike your words?
I have 4 minutes and 21 seconds to speak.
I think we have to do the motion first, and then unless there's another motion, then you'll be recognized again. But I believe there's another motion coming. So will you agree to strike your words?
Yeah. I'll
Okay. Ms. Greene agrees to strike her words.
I believe she should apologize. No. She
Perry,
should apologize.
okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Greene
I'm not
has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then you're
reserve the
not
right to
striking your
object.
words.
I am
You're
not apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman, the minority.
It's pretty self-evident.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not.
Out of order.
You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd like to strike those words as well. I would like
the lady's words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Oh, they cannot take the words.
There's another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right,
get
okay,
your members under
here's
control.
the correct apology. Ms. Greene, do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll strike
right.
my words, but I'm not apologizing.
Without objection.
Not apologizing.
Reserving the right to object.
Chairman, I
reserve the right to
recognizes
object.
Mr.
I
Perry.
reserve the right to
Mr.
object.
Chairman, I move that Mr. Goldman's words and Ms. Ocasio-Cortez's words be stricken.
Okay.
Which words? And you have to do it contemporaneously. Object. The objection must be contemporaneous, and they haven't spoken in 10 minutes.
Nobody's spoken in 10 minutes.
Well, that's right. Therefore, defeating your proposal.
You all have.
Now the chair recognizes Ms. Greene for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Who's
It's me.
Ms. Crockett?
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's a
I'm
parliament.
trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to strike those
I had no idea what
words.
you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just said
You just voted to do
Y'all did it
it.
first, so
You
don't
just
talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not recognized. Ms. Crockett.
I can't hear you with your
And
yelling.
You don't want
calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
Please calm
noise,
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if I
Look, Chairman,
come
can we
and
send
talk
outside to
shit
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a problem.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, Chair.
I don't know why you're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now
that.
recognizes
Not cute.
Ms. Greene for 4 minutes and 21 seconds. 4 minutes. Let Ms. Greene talk, and then I'll recognize.
But I moved to strike her words for a second time based on her second set of personal remarks attacking another member.
Who?
Chairman Comer.
Because you all cannot
I have an
seem
amendment at
to
the desk,
apply
and this
the
sideshow
rules of the
needs to
committee.
stop.
We have to do this every time.
Okay, I'm recognized. I'm recognized. I'm going to go ahead and start talking.
Look, I know. Look, I don't know if you've noticed it. I have 2 hearing aids. I'm very deaf. I'm not understanding. Everybody's yelling. I'm doing the best I can. Can we not recognize Ms. Greene and let her
We cannot because of the rules of the committee, Mr. Chair. That is what I'm trying to communicate in the present moment.
We have a okay, what's the motion?
The motion is to strike the gentlelady's words for the second set of remarks, not the first, the second. That applied to me.
She has no idea. I think, Mr. Chairman, I'm the only one recognized right now.
We objected at the time.
Will the member state the word she wishes struck?
She told me, or she asserted that I was not intelligent. These are the specific words. We can have it read by the clerk.
It was made immediately.
And it was made immediately. I am not moving now.
I don't think it was timely.
I am not moving now.
It was made immediately, both by the gentlelady and by me.
Mr. Chair, it was made immediately.
It was made immediately, both by the gentlelady and by me.
Return to us.
She said, "You don't have the intelligence to talk to me," is what she said.
The chair recognizes Ms. Greene for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, what is happening with the ruling?
I object to the ruling now.
We must object.
I mean, if you want to take it up.
Oh, suck it. What did she actually, did she say matter of fact,
bleach blonde,
bad built, butch body. I got it written down. It's going to be on a T-shirt very soon.
It's already posted on my social media. The African history.
I saw.
Got it.
Hold on. I saw this tweet today from my man Wesley Snipes. He says, suddenly, go to my iPad, I like Metro Boomin to make a beat with bleach, blonde, bad built, butch, and body in the beat.
Today's show has been brought to you by the letter B.
Today's show's been brought to you by Clorox. Kelly, it was a little crazy there, Kelly.
I'm here for. I think she should have taken it a step further, because for me, after all of that, I would have been like, "Ain't bitch," because what you're not going to do is come for me when I didn't send for you. That's what we're not going to do. We're not going to have that kind of decorum in the House of Congress when I didn't even call for it. I was out here minding my business, representing the great state of Texas, and you coming over here talking about eyelashes that you need, not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the alliteration for me. It was the restraint for me, because it was clear that she could have taken it a step further and she didn't. Because if it were me, I probably would have not been in Congress anymore. There would have been, some slow singing and flower bringing. I'm not going to hold you.
That was delicious, Michael.
Not delicious.
That was delicious. That was delicious.
I watched it earlier today, and Marjorie Trailer Park Trash Greene, I think she bit off more than she could chew. She opened up a can of whoop ass. She couldn't put the lid back on. But this dysfunction, I want people to really understand what's going on. This dysfunction and Republicans being in control of the House of Representatives and all the committees. That's why Representative James Comer of Kentucky is the chairman of this committee. It's the result of about 7,000 votes over a handful of House races in 2022. That's why Republicans are in charge. That's why in 2023, they only got 27 bills passed in the House of Representatives, whereas in 2022, when Democrats were in control of the House, they got about 300 bills passed. They have still not passed a budget. They have still not passed a fiscal year budget. They're on their, I think, their third continuing resolution. Yeah, I think it's their third continuing resolution. This is the dysfunction. This is how elections have consequences. You can't get bills passed that are meaningful to us because of BS like this and simple Simon-ass people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And Comer doesn't even understand the rules of the committee. He's the chairman, okay? These people are not built for leadership. It's easy to just say no and vote no on everything when you're in the minority, like Republicans were. Now when you have to govern, they're showing they cannot govern. This is why 2024 November is so crucial.
Yo, I just sat there and it was crazy. You know what? Here's Matt. If I'm Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, my Congresswoman, from the great state of Texas, from the great state of Texas. If I'm her, the next time the House Oversight Committee meets, if I was her, I would walk into the committee room and I would say, "Coma, give me my theme song."
Okay, all right. I'm continually surprised on this show because I'm
telling you. No, go ahead, turn the audio up. Leave it on the pad, turn the audio up. Just the audio.
Shit, was on my third damn. Nigga, what you think I can just run up in here and snap my fingers and make these motherfuckers throw their money at me? Nigga, I ain't even made payout yet.
Hey, I'm just saying, you go have a theme song, I would say, "Coma, give me my theme music."
Well, I love that you're King Petty and you leaning in because that gave me a good laugh. But I want to say, you know, when I watch this show, I often look at the comments from our brothers and sisters on YouTube. And somebody named Riz B said exactly what I was thinking. They said, "Look at this shit. These are lawmakers." And Michael kind of alluded to it. But when I watched this, it was funny. I love Jasmine Crockett. I think she's brilliant. I think she is outspoken. And I think that she is important, right? Because not only is she outspoken and she's brilliant, but she doesn't always say things the way they want to hear it, but she never sacrifices the truth. And I appreciate that. But as a citizen, this kind of thing infuriates me. They can't even figure out how to keep the government open half the time. They can't pass bills. And this dog and pony show that they engage in, really, to me, I mean, not Jasmine Crockett, because it was obviously reactionary to what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. But Marjorie Taylor Greene in particular, it's so much now about the pageantry that it's not about leading. And even if I were in her district, it would infuriate me because I would feel like you're more about sound bites than you are making sure that the port comes to our district to make sure we have what we need. And while this is funny, it is also, it portends really a horrible trend that we're seeing in our politicians. And I want to kind of speak on this because I'm sure you did this on the show yesterday. I didn't get to watch it. But Greg Abbott pardoning Sergeant Daniel Perry is like one of the most gross, tyrannical decisions I've seen in a very long time. And it is purely ideological. And the point with that is this. What you're seeing politicians these days do is just play for sound bites and clicks. And that's what this is about. I mean, we're talking about in the House chamber. But what's really insidious about this is that you see what very often happens to black people and to black women when a white person particularly says something offensive, throws a rock, hides their hands, and then the goalpost moves, and now they're the ones upholding the rules of decorum, right? And, oh, you can't say that, and this, we got to do it the right way. I mean, that is horseshit. The idea that you would call somebody out about their physical appearance when it's not in any way germane to what's going on, and then try to act like you get to control how she responds to that is offensive. And that's something that people deal with all the time, of all walks of life. But it's especially ridiculous to see it in people whom we pay to make the decisions that control our lives and who are continuously less able to do that because they're playing political games. So this is a problem because we shouldn't be dealing with this. You should be figuring out how to make our healthcare cheaper, and you should be figuring out how to keep the government open. But instead, you're engaging in this kind of chicanery.
There were some other moments during the hearing, and this is courtesy of Congressman Jared Moskowitz.
Chair recognizes Mr. Moskowitz.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, so welcome to Oversight After Dark. If you love James Comer at 11 o'clock in the morning, you're really going to love him at 8:30 p.m. So, members, the hearing was moved today. We don't have to ask the question. The hearing was moved today so that members could go to New York and attend the Trump hearing. But how's he doing? He's complained that he's chilly in the courtroom. Is it chilly? Is it chilly?
Will the gentleman yield?
No, I'll assume it's chilly.
He's doing very good.
Okay, good. So, you know, it was mentioned by the ranking member about really what we're doing here. You don't have to listen to my words. I would like to do a spirited reading of the campaign email sent out by the chairman. And it's on lovely stationery. In fact, it says, from the desk of the oversight chairman. I'm not sure you can do that, but I'm not an ethics expert. It says, friend. President Biden is exerting executive privilege in a last-ditch attempt to stop the disastrous audio recording of his interview with special counsel from being released. And it's highlighted in yellow. Want to make sure people saw that. Just a few months ago, the White House bragged that Joe Biden had nothing to hide and would not exert executive privilege during special counsel Hur's investigation. They even said he had nothing to hide. That's in italics. Now Biden and his advisors are terrified that I, James Comer, will release the recordings, forcing the media and the Democrats to answer for the dismal decline of Biden's mental state. He even had attorney Merrick Garland write a letter saying that his interview falls within the scope of executive privilege. This could be the final blow with swing voters across the country. Okay. You and I know, hold on, we're not done, it gets better. You and I know he's not up for the job, but the mainstream's media refusal to report on it as only keeping him in the game. Stand with Comer. The Democrats, you sure about that? The Democrats are pulling out all the stops to stop the bleeding. That means coming after me with everything they had. If you're able, we hope you are, I'd be so grateful if you'd consider making a donation to my campaign. I sure need it to defend against the onslaught of attacks. Thank you for everything. James Comer, chairman of the House Oversight Committee. Without objection, I'd like to enter that into the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
All right, beautiful.
Now that's what's a trip. Here you got Comer sitting there, and he's fundraising off of it. They ain't got no proof of nothing. They ain't. And then you talking about you want to hold Merrick Garland in contempt when that fool Jim Jordan is sitting right there on the committee, and his punk ass is still in contempt more than 700 days later.
Yes. This is the dysfunctional Republican Party that cannot govern. We have to understand how important it is to vote incompetent people out of office, especially Republicans. If you have incompetent Democrats, run somebody better, replace them also. But this is dangerous. And Kelly mentioned, I think it was Kelly who mentioned health care. Donald Trump is saying he will repeal the Affordable Health Care Act if he's reelected. Now, 41 million people have signed up for the Affordable Health Care Act. It's more commonly called Obamacare. It's more popular than ever, okay? And if you want to know the damage that Donald Trump can do, even if he doesn't repeal it, if you go back to 2016 when he was president, in his administration, he cut the amount of funding for marketing the Affordable Health Care Act, okay? Making people aware that they could register for it. They cut the funding by 90%. The amount of time that you had to apply for the Affordable Health Care Act, they cut that amount of time in half. This is just the damage that he can do without legislation going through Congress, all right? And they have been consistently talking about repealing and replacing the Affordable Health Care Act, but they have nothing that they can replace it with that they agree with, okay? This is dangerous. So we have to understand what's at stake in 2024. This is more about, this is not about Biden versus Trump. This is about all these other policies and the trajectory of this country and the future. And one of the most important things, U.S. Supreme Court and the federal bench, lifetime appointments.
You know what? I think I still feel a little extra petty.
Of course you do.
I do.
Of course you do.
I do. And so somebody posted this on social media, this graphic here. Come on, pull the graphic up. Come on, pull the graphic up. The graphic. Pull the graphic up. Thank you very much. This probably will be the album cover. My digital girls created an AI song that I think y'all gonna love. Just go ahead and bring the panel back, bring all four of us back, and go ahead and play us the name of this song. Kelly, what is it? Bad Built, what is it? Bleach Blonde.
Bleach Blonde.
No, hold on, y'all ain't doing it right. Ladies and gentlemen, here to present the new hit song. Kelly, what's the new hit song?
Bleach Blonde, Bad Built, Butch Body.
Hit it.
Bad built frame, bad built frame. Bleach blonde bush, better shut your trap, ain't got no game.
You all right, Kelly?
Yeah.
And you said that was AI?
Yes. Hit it one more time. Run it back.
Bad bill frame. Bleach blonde bush, better shut your trap. Ain't got no game. Bleach blonde bush, bad bill shame. Bad bill shame. Whole lot of frontin', whole lot of frontin'. All in my lane. Bleach blonde bush, bleach blonde bush, bleach blonde bush. Bad bill frame, bad bill frame. Bleach blonde bush, bleach blonde bush. Better shut your trap. Ain't got no game. Bleach blonde bush.
Oh, that was from Marjorie Taylor Greene right there, Matt.
Is that a cane?
Oh, yeah. One of my followers sent me this about 3 years ago. They sent me, go wide. They sent me a Roland Martin unfiltered. So you see right here is Roland Martin right. No, go to the three, number 3. So they got Roland Martin right here. Then they put unfiltered over here in gold. And then they got A5A right here as well. And so when we were playing that video, I meant to get, I wore my athletic pants. I meant to get a belt because they were smacking that ass. They were just smacking that ass of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And so I went ahead and got the cane because they were just like, beat. They were just, yeah. That's what was going on right there. I told y'all, listen, I am creating a new segment on Roland Martin Unfiltered. It is going to be called, did Keenan have it ready yet, Kara? Damn, he ain't got it ready yet. Y'all, I'm announcing today, I'm creating a new segment on the show. It's called The Crockett Chronicles. It's called The Crockett Chronicles. So every time Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, they have one of these hearings, we're going to be sure to play the best of the shadiest, pettiest comments from my Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett in this new segment on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. It's called The Crockett Chronicles. Just letting y'all know. Matt, you gonna say something? Go ahead.
I'm really baffled at the fact that AI can make a song that sounds like somebody programmed drums on Ableton themselves. I mean, that sounds like a Duro track. I'm listening to it. I'm hearing ice cream paint job. I'm really baffled that AI is able to do that. You're going to tell me that somebody took it and they, people do this on Instagram, social media. Somebody took it, chopped it up, put drums under it. No, AI made that song, so we should have a conversation about AI and its capabilities.
No, we did. That was last week's Tech Talk when Isaac Hayes III was on, and we talked about how that's how AI is. Yeah, my man Keenan threw that together, and it turned out. Run it back!
Bad bill frame, bad bill frame. Bleach blonde bush, better shut your trap. Ain't got no game. Bleach blonde bush, bad bill shame, bad bill shame. Whole lot of frontin', whole lot of frontin'. All in my lane. Bleach blonde bush, bleach blonde bush, bleach blonde bush. Bad bill frame, bad bill frame. Bleach blonde bush, bleach blonde bush. Better shut your trap. Ain't got no game.
There you go. Now that's when Congresswoman Crockett gonna say, "Coma, give me my theme music."
It's funny because one of my IG friends, his name is King Wallonius. He's the creator of BBL Drizzy. He just came out with a Bleach Blonde song as well. So I'm looking.
Hold up. What's his handle?
King Wallonius. He's the one who created King Wallonius.
How the hell is spell Wallonius?
WILONIUS.
Ain't that like that's no regular ass spelling, Kelly?
No, I was trying to think it out. I'm trying to think it through. I can't
King
remember.
Wallonius. First of all, it's got 2 L's.
It does? Okay.
Yeah, it got 2 L's. Okay.
So Metro Boomin took his song, sampled it, and that's the BBL Drizzy song that everybody's hearing right now.
Right. You said he came out with one of the Bleach Blonde?
Yes. My mom just sent it to me.
Boom! Y'all, pull up the audio of my iPad. right there, Kelly.
Oh my God.
You all right?
I'm great. I'm great. That was wonderful. That was great. Shout out to King Wallonius.
Yeah, King Wallonius. That's a bop right there.
He's an amazing he's a comedic songwriter, and his whole page is just full of bops like that. Like I said, he did BBL Drizzy. He's done that. He's just like this AI guru when it comes to songs and imaging and all of those things. And I've seen his stand-up. He's come out to the DMV area for stand-up stuff. And I mean, just incredible talent. And I'm excited that his page has been blowing up since the Drake Kendrick Lamar thing. I hope this takes him to the next level as well, because he deserves. He's really good. He's really good.
Hey, Michael, that sounds like a Motown song right there.
Yeah, it does. I was just looking at the 2022 midterm election results while we were listening to this music, and looking at Marjorie Taylor Greene. She won by her district. I think she got like 61% of the vote, something like that, 65% of the vote. So even I think she's in a pretty red district.
Yeah, she's in a heavily gerrymandered district. Remember, she ran against the brother who was the veteran. Right. And her opponent this time is another brother. We had him on the show. It's another brother who's running against her. But again, Republicans have the gerrymandered these districts. But I think the smart play for Democrats is to mock her silly ass at every turn, because she is truly the second dumbest member of Congress behind Lauren Boebert.
And Lauren Boebert, on recount, she won, if I remember correctly, by something like 546 votes.
Yeah, so trust me, she's scared. That's why she's running in a neighboring district, because she was gonna get a behind kick. Matt, real quick, final comment, Matt.
Well, first, I was really impressed by how authentic that horn section was for Motown. So that's what I was listening to. But my final comment on it is we should not allow this. These are lawmakers who have the fates of our lives in their hands with a lot of the bills that they pass. They should not be able to shirk that duty for political points, and that's what we're seeing. And my 4-year-old is showing me his tablet. So that's the end of my comment.
All right. All right, I'm going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network, the home of the, bad built, bleach blonde, butch body, something like that. Y'all know what it is. Matter of fact, you know what? We're going to play that song again before we go to the break. All right, I'll be back in a moment.
Bad bill frame. Bleach blonde bush, better shut your trap, ain't got no game. Bleach blonde bush, bad bill shame. Whole lot of frontin', all in my lane. Bleach blonde bush, bad bill frame. Bleach blonde bush.
On a next, A Balanced Life with me, Dr. Jackie. Staying balanced is tough enough with the normal day-to-day stuff going on. But what happens when we get the unexpected? It may come crashing down through a bad diagnosis for either you or a loved one.
My son, he actually was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it came at a very challenging time in my life. I had a lot going on with starting a new business.
How to cope and even stay balanced when even the walls are crashing in. That's on the next A Balanced Life with me, Dr. Jackie, here at Black Star Network.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
It was my junior year at Georgetown, and Spike calls me and he says, Malcolm, what are you doing next year? So, graduating, He said, take a year off, work on Malcolm X. I said, okay.
First of all, for the folks who don't know, Spike is
my cousin. Spike is my cousin.
Just for the person watching, like, how the hell is Spike just gonna tell you that?
It's true. It's true.
Me, Sherry Shepard, with Sammy Roman.
I'm Dr. Robin B., pharmacist and fitness coach, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Georgia lawmakers are considering replacing the statue of Confederate leader Alexander Stephens at the U.S. Capitol with a sculpture of Hall of Famer Henry Hank Aaron. Lawmakers have been trying to replace the statue of the first and only vice president of the Confederacy. In 2020, Governor Brian Kemp and other Republican leaders backed a push to replace the statue with a likeness of the late Democratic Congressman John Lewis, but lawmakers could not agree. The Stephens statue is part of the National Statuary Hall collection, in which each state can place 2 statues of whoever figure they want. The person they believe deserves a spot inside the halls of Congress. We saw, of course, recently where Daisy Bates, her statue was placed there for Arkansas. Mary McLeod Bethune represents the state of Florida. And so I think Henry Hank Aaron is an absolute great choice. There are a lot of choices, Michael, that could come from the state of Georgia. It could be James Brown. It could be John Lewis. It could be Ray Charles. It's a whole lot of choices they have of black folks who are great people from the state of Georgia.
Yeah, there are a lot of choices for a statue. Hank Aaron is a good choice, but you know, I've been to Georgia a number of times, and at the same time, Georgia has the largest Confederate monument of anywhere in this country called Stone Mountain. Okay, so yes, this is a good choice, but this has to be utilized, I think, as a galvanizing point for African Americans in Georgia to vote for people into office to change policy as well. So yeah, you can do this here. And Hank Aaron is, 755 home runs. I remember watching Hank Aaron when I was a kid, 'cause I was born in 71. So I'm older than Matt and Kelly here. So I remember when Hank Aaron was playing. I had some Hank Aaron baseball cards. But when you mention Governor Brian Kemp, Brian Kemp is the one that signed Senate Bill 201 in the law. So yes, this should happen.
Right.
But we can't be distracted.
Of course not.
Don't be fooled by this. I'm
not saying it's not. I mean,
on the panel.
Right.
I'm not saying us on the panel are, but let's use this as a galvanizing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay, for political change.
And bottom line is this here: we take control of more state houses, we can get more black folks in those statues. Kelly.
No, absolutely. I think that, again, Hank Aaron is a great choice. I personally think that any notable black person from the state of Georgia that wasn't a traitor to this country is a great choice to be a statue. Again, we talked about this last week. I, for the life of me, do not understand how it is not considered treason for these statues of Confederate soldiers and Confederate adjacent memorabilia, paraphernalia, what have you, how that is not considered treason. Because they lost. They literally were against the United States of America. So again, replace them all. As far as I'm concerned, has nothing to do with black, white, heritage, whatever. Has everything to do with, are you a patriot or are you a traitor? And Hank Aaron was not a traitor. He happens to be a black man who did incredible things in his sport. Go for it. He needs to be remembered and uplifted in the community. But either way, statues of the Confederacy, upholding the Confederacy, upholding that heritage, need to come down.
Absolutely. And very simple, Matt. I don't want none of these Confederate monuments up. I don't care whether they're statues, busts, whatever they are. they can all come down and be replaced by black folks.
Yeah, exactly. Because hearkening back to Supreme Court Justice Alito, what you choose to display shows your values a lot of times, right? So if we've got Confederates who are being lionized in the halls of the most powerful buildings in terms of our government, then that means that you are giving tacit approval to what they stood for, even if you try to say that you don't. So they should be replaced. They should be replaced with people who matter. And I love Hammer and Hank. He was many years before my time, but I love the idea of commemorating him. However, I think there are some other choices like John Lewis. There's other people from Georgia that could be great choices there. But to Michael's point, I think we really need to make sure we are not too focused on the ornamental and that we're focused on the substantive, which is go do your job and actually vote on bills that change our lives.
Absolutely. Let's stay in Georgia, folks, where hundreds filled a Georgia church today to say goodbye, formal goodbye to Roger Fortson, the U.S. airman killed by a Florida deputy. Air Force members in dress blues joined Fortson's family, friends, and others to celebrate the life of the 23-year-old who was shot 6 times by an Okaloosa County, Florida deputy responding to a May 3rd call about a possible domestic violence situation at Fortson's apartment complex. During today's homegoing service, Raven Fortson spoke fondly of her brother. His former principal remembered a student trying to find his way, and the commander shared his thoughts about the airman.
I have the privilege of leading a group of great Americans like Senior Airman Fortson, a man of honor, a man of integrity, a man of courage. As you can see from the sea of Air Force Blue, I'm not alone in my admiration of Senior Airman Fortson. For us, Senior Airman Fortson had 3 amazing traits: the airman, the man, and his legacy. Senior Airman Fortson lived the Air Force core values: service, integrity, excellence, not because of anything we taught him, but because of you. He was living those values before we met him because of how you raised him. We would love to take credit for making him great, but the truth is he was great before he came to us. The Air Force, we merely polished a diamond that you forged. Senior Airman Fortson was a combat veteran. He answered the nation's call to take the fight to our enemies over the skies of Iraq, Syria. He took part in Special Operations Mission, taking care of U.S. national security impact. And for the efforts, he was awarded the Air Medal with a combat device in 2023. He was a member of a rare team, the AC-130 gunship community, and many of his squadron mates from the 73rd Special Operations Squadron and the 4th Special Operations Squadron. They're here with us today, and I'll tell you, we all loved having Senior Airman Fortson on our team. It takes an incredible person to be an air commando, and to make it in one of our squadrons, you've got to be the best. No shortcuts, no excuses, no fail. We only accept high standards, determination to execute our mission anytime, any place. And I'll tell you, Senior Airman Fortson answered the call of duty. He excelled with honor, professionalism, confidence. Beyond his flying and combat accolades, he was a great person. And if you want to be a great airman, be a great person. Senior Airman Fortson did just that.
I just want to speak a few words about Roger. He was one of our gifted students at Dr. Ronald E. McNair High School. He didn't always act gifted. He acted like an annoying teenage boy sometimes. But he was definitely a joy. And I don't have to hallucinate things to say about him, because the things that I can say about him are genuine. He was an amazing young man. He didn't always put his best foot forward, but that's because he was so intelligent, he didn't have to. But I do believe that he found his niche. Once he took the ASVAB and scored an amazing score on the ASVAB, he was able to figure out exactly what it was he wanted to do. And although I can say as his principal that I was proud of him as a student and the things that he accomplished during that time, and I know he made his mom proud. And when I tell you she loved herself some Roger. But what I can say even more is that she was proud of the man that he became.
I thought Roger was the coolest person in the world. I used to just watch him, how he would talk with his accent and that smile. I was so proud of my brother. And he was so humble, but every now and then he would tell you who he was. He would tell you what he did. He'll let you know. And like me, as a big sister, I used to be like, okay, but you still a baby, you know, because he would talk like he was just the grownest man. Like he had just lived so much life. But he did. Like at 23 years old, my brother did more than men 50, 60 years old. And, you know, he had every right to be that proud of who he was. I was proud of who he was. I love to hear him talk like that. You know, I tell anybody about my brother. I used to brag about him all the time, and I still am. I'm never going to shut up talking about Roger, about who he was, the kind of man he was. And I just hope nobody else in this room does either, because he was supposed to have 1 million more accomplishments. He was supposed to call and brag about 1 million more things and do so much more. And, you know, like just as devastating as this is, we got to make him proud now. He got to watch us and see us, and, you know, because he's looking down on us. He's looking down on me. He's looking down on my dad, on Mika, on Harmony, on Andre, on Isaac, Demetrius, everybody. He's watching us. And even in this moment, like, I'm trying not to cry, because I know Roger would crack a joke. He would say something to try and make everybody in here laugh. He didn't like people being down or being sad. And so that's just who he was, and I just wanted to tell y'all that about my brother. I love you, Roger, and I'm gonna miss you. I miss you so much.
This is video from Ben Crump's social media account where the U.S. flag that draped the coffin of Airman Fortson was presented to his parents. Again, he was 24 years old. And there was no reason in the world that his family should have been burying this young man at this age. Attorney Ben Crump said that based upon the 911 calls and the previous 911 calls, that clearly they got the wrong apartment. 24-year-old Roger Fortson, again, buried today in his home state of Georgia. That should never, ever happen. But that's also the reality that Fortson is dead because of his black skin. There's no doubt about that. Folks, that is it for us. We appreciate Michael, Kelly, Matt being on today's show. Thank you so very much, folks. I am going to be in California this weekend. Anthony Anderson is having his annual Celebrity Golf Classic, raising money for various foundations. And so I will be here, of course, on Tuesday. But I'll be, of course, have some great videos from the golf tournament for y'all to check out. Don't forget, support us in what we do, folks. Your resources are invaluable for the kind of work that we do. We got lots of things planned this summer. We want to be on the road broadcasting from different cities across the country. So you can send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. You can also, of course, get my book, White Fever, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Mind. Available bookstores nationwide. Get the audio version on Audible. And I hit my brother. We had sold out all the books, but I hit my brother. I had my parents check my home in Texas to see if we had any more copies of the first. And my brother, actually, there were several cases at his house in storage. So I am reopening. We only have about I haven't checked. It's about 350 or so books. I'm having him give me an accurate count. But if y'all want to get the remaining copies, we sold out of the rest. They're gone. And I told y'all, once I'm sold out, they're not being reprinted. We're not doing it at all. And so if you want to get this, please do so. And you can absolutely get your copy, signed copy of the first. So you absolutely want to get it. The first President Barack Obama's road to the White House is originally reported by Roland S. Martin. I told y'all we had to increase the shipping fee because, damn, the prices went up big time since I last mailed some books. And so I cut the price from $20 to $10. Shipping and handling is $7.99. And I'm personally autographing each one. So some of y'all need to know it's taking some time to get the books to you because I'm literally putting people's actual name in the book. I'm not just putting my signature. I have a personal inscription in each copy. Go to RolandSMartin.com/the first, RolandSMartin.com/the first. And again, my brother checked. It's about 350 copies. Once they're out, we're out. So like y'all been asking, order the books right now because trust me, they are going out the door. We sold the last ones, y'all. We sold those literally. We sold those copies in 6 days. In 6 days, I had little more than 500. They went out in 6 days. These are going to be gone as well, so get them as well. So, all right, that's it for us. So we're going to do this here, y'all. Normally, of course, we always end the show showing y'all the folks who give to our donors. So normally we got this music playing, but y'all know I gotta do this here. So we just gonna go ahead and play the Bleach Blonde song. Y'all got it in there. I'm gonna play from King Wallonia, his version here. So y'all roll the names and we gonna roll with this music. Y'all enjoy. Ha!
shut your trap